What's going on, people of YouTube land? David Feldman-Makrias here. Just a quick rant, as always. Put my face over Google. I found something interesting in one of my conversations with a manager of a franchise store that I deal with, and he had some cool like little anecdote, let's say. And this might be something that people have already as common knowledge, or maybe it's a realization later in life and some wisdom. But words are just words, right? We only internalize things truly when we go through some sort of reference experience, or when we understand and go, oh, that's what this person meant, or oh, that's what that's what it feels like, right? um I can go on a lot of different examples. I'm not going to. The cool example here is how you're paid and compensated over time. And there's two different forms of how you can be paid. And it's one of them is paid for what you do, right? Paid for what you do. So that's like, okay, I'm going to perform a service for someone. I'm going to, go in and be a salesperson. I'm going to go in and do a job. And I'm going to go in and perform a specific list, tasks, duties, and accomplish something for someone. That's almost like your perceived value, right? What is that perception? What is that perceived value? Meaning, what are you doing that can actually has a physical, tangible result to it that someone can go, oh yeah, this person sent that email, or oh yeah, that person did an email blast. You know, that's what the paid for what you do is. The interesting part, when you get a little bit wiser and you get some experience and you get some know-how, you move into the category of paid for what you know. So as you get more experience, you're still going to be required to do certain things, but you will also get paid for your experience. That's the second category, paid for what you know, right? And I think that's so powerful because, at least for me, I always thought paid for what you know is more of the. Actually, I got this wrong a little bit. Paid for what you know, I said it wrong previously. Paid for what you know is more of the perceived value, your perception, the perception of clients. I talk about that all the time. Actual value, perceived value, all the time. It's congruent throughout a lot of my videos. So the perceived value is more paid for what you know. The actual value, that's where I messed up. The actual value is paid for what you're doing, right? Paid for what you do and paid for what you know. Again, the actual value, what tangible result am I offering? Am I sending these emails? Am I managing these people? Am I hiring, firing? Am I working HR? Like, what is the actual duties and responsibilities that I fulfill on a day-to-day basis? But then paid for what you know is that perceived value. It's what does this person know? Not just about business or about not just about business, not just about the actual thing that they're doing, but also, can you read a room? Do you have emotional skills? Can you understand the different dynamics and mold with them and become a chameleon? That falls into that pay for what you know. And can what you know, how do you apply it to whoever you're serving in a positive way that makes everybody feel good, makes everybody go in the right direction? I mean, that's really the second item, paid for what you know. And I thought that was pretty interesting, right? Paid for what you do and paid for what you know. As you're younger and more youthful, you're going to be paid for what you're doing. And as you get experience, you're going to be paid for what you know. You'll still get paid for what you do. And then I think as the wiser you get, usually with age, paid for what you know becomes just as valuable, if not more valuable. I put a lot of emphasis on the paid for what you do, but the paid for what you know is super valuable. In a consulting way, I think it's great. Like, to understand different business dynamics, understand the roles, responsibilities of the owner, the manager, and the secondary manager, and not only understand the responsibilities, but be able to effectively communicate to each level differently and understand their perception and their frame of reference and be able to give them the best little big advice that can help them in their day to day and make them feel good about it. That is a super valuable, like super valuable skill to have. And I think that's really, really powerful, super powerful. And then when you start to mold that stuff, and that's just an example, right? That when you start to mold that into your character, into your everyday, that's when you really increase the value of your pay to know versus pay to do. And the wiser you become, the more you articulate that and refine it and sharpen that sword. And then you can shift your responsibilities. Instead of just paying what to do, you get paid for what you know. And yeah, it's one way to increase your market value in literally any service that you do. Like if you're serving people in any way, I don't care if it's selling a product or whatever, selling a product, selling a service, consulting, communications, picking up the phone, cold call dialing, what have you. You need to know that, and that's life. And that's life. Anyways, kind of a random rant, but I felt like it was necessary to talk about, and I thought it was a cool concept. Like the two different ways you get paid. You get paid for what you do, and you get paid for what you know. And over time, that shifts. It shifts. At least it should. Because here's the thing with age, too. When you get older, you can't do as much. I don't care how good a shape you're in. I don't care how good of mentality you have. I don't, when you get older, you don't do things as quickly. Your body doesn't work as good. It's not as fast. You have to appreciate what you got, but you can realize that you do age. We do age in this life. And that's why as we get older, that's how we need to get paid, right? Paid for what you do, paid for what you know, you know, you know. Um, so that's what, like you look at presidents and things like that, heads of state, and you go, what are they actually doing? They shouldn't be doing a whole lot. They should be delegating and doing a whole lot, or delegating to people that do a whole lot. And then they should be compensated, and really their time is valuable on what they know. In order to get to that point, you have to have a lot of reference experience. I think it's really important to work on self development. I think it's really important to meditate on it, have awareness, positivity, all those core concepts, and of course, reference for what to do. Because if you don't, then you got to figure it out. And if you don't know what to do, know that you don't know what to do and figure out how to fix it. Because in today's digital landscape, it's like, I don't know a lot. There are people teaching me stuff all the time, exposing to me things all the time, but I have a core set of principles that I rely on that basically guide me throughout. Like, I don't get scared when a new campaign comes out because I know what are the principles behind it, and that helps me guide my decisions. And that's where that paid for what you know comes into play. And the thing that I was going to say cements, yeah, the thing that cements that is experience. When you have experience, your paid to what you know becomes more ingrained and valuable. But you also have to carry that sword to where it's like everything can shift on a dime, meaning you got to check your reference, you got to test. That's one of my principles: test everything and test often and fail often, because then we're learning, then we're learning. Anyways, I'm just ranting. Guys, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe. If you don't like it, give me the middle finger. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. If I find any valuable in this, hit me up. Hit me up in the comments, and we'll go from there. Thank you all very much. Take care.